Dear Tim and Moby, can you tell me about the Renaissance? XOXO, Janine, winky face. Well, Janine, the Renaissance was a cultural and political revival period in Western Europe. At first, the Black Death occurred, a form of bubonic plague that spread and killed 1/3 of the population. Following this was a golden age, a time of peace, prosperity, and happiness. In addition, during this time, ethnocentrism took place. Ethnocentrism is the tendency to believe that one's ethnic or cultural group is centrally important.
My database is telling me architecture was a big part of the Renaissance.
Yes, Moby, architecture was a big part of the Renaissance. In fact, architects took pilgrimages back to Rome to study the ancient ruins. Classical architectural elements like columns, arches, and domes were incorporated in buildings made during the Renaissance. Filippo Brunelleschi is widely regarded as one of the foremost architects and engineers of the Italian Renaissance. He is credited for the engineering of the Santa Maria del Fiore, commonly referred to as the Duomo.
I searched the web and it says that completed in 1436, the Duomo measures 376 feet high and 502 feet wide. It is one of Italy's largest churches and continues to remain the largest brick dome ever constructed.
Artists came to Italy because of its wealth during this time period. Among these artists was Michelangelo. He was born March 6, 1475 in present-day Tuscany, Italy. He died February 18, 1564. He was an Italian sculptor, painter, architect, and engineer, and was considered the greatest living artist in his lifetime. His most well-known work in fresco is that of the Sistine Chapel. Art during this time became much more realistic.
Sono così maldestro!
That was Leonardo da Vinci, born April 15, 1492, and died May 2, 1519. He was an Italian sculptor, painter, architect, musician, mathematician, engineer, inventor, anatomist, geologist, cartographer, botanist, and writer. Leonardo has been described as the archetype of the Renaissance man, and is widely considered to be one of the most talented people to have ever lived. Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, a famous secular image dealing with humanism. Religious art remained dominant, but more realistic depictions of people and nature were created, and some non-religious paintings surfaced during this time. Catholicism was the predominant religion in this era.
Wasn't Martin Luther an important figure to the Catholic religion?
You're right, Moby. Martin Luther was a German monk who, in his time, was tired of corruption in the Catholic Church. As a result of this, in 1517, he nailed a document containing 95 theses or propositions to the door of the Castle Church in Wittenberg. He believed salvation is granted on the basis of faith rather than deeds. Luther's protest soon led him to challenge many Catholic beliefs, including the authority of the Pope. These Reformation ideas spread more quickly than ever after the invention of the Gutenberg printing press. Moby, what can you tell me about this?
Printing was introduced in the 15th century when the German Johannes Gutenberg introduced movable type building on Chinese printing technology. Soon after this, books were distributed in larger quantities in the West, which helped expand the audience for Renaissance writers and disseminated religious ideas. The invention of the Gutenberg printing press started a new bud in technology, further advancing the capabilities of the people. At this point, literacy began to gain ground, and from this spurred new kinds of thinking.
The Renaissance was a time of individuality, creative freedom, and fabulous clubbing!